And you're good.
Okay. Mike, you in? Yeah, okay. Linda, Mike, you guys are both here. Okay, beautiful.
Yep.
So the November meeting for the Civil Service Commission in the City of Albany is now in session. Attending Thomas McNaughton, Linda Jackson Chalmers, and Michael Cassidy, commissioners. Amy Levine, representing the Department of Law in the City of Albany. Sandra Coleman, Human Resources Generalist 3, and Peachy Jones. Peachy, are you on today?
No, she's not on right now, so we'll
Not
just
being.
have
Okay,
her.
meeting is called to order.
Rebecca Campbell joining as well.
And Rebecca is with who?
HR Generalist 2. She's with the HR office.
Okay, welcome, Rebecca. Meeting is called to order. Commissioners, have you had a chance to review the minutes from the preceding meeting?
Yes,
Yes, move to approve.
I second.
Okay, passed and carried. Agenda item 3, report of appointments to the competitive, non-competitive, exempt, and labor class. Civil Service Office reported on the following permanent competitive class appointments. Timothy Walters, Head Custodian, Albany School District, effective 11/6/2020. Elias Cox, Senior Human Resources Generalist, Albany School District, effective 11/6/2020. Elnora Baker, Librarian 1, Albany Public Library, effective 11/8/2020. Civil Service Office reported on the following labor class appointments. Michael O'Day, Custodial Worker, Albany Public Library, effective 10/12/2020. Ricardo Berchaga, Custodial Worker, DGS, effective 11/12/2020. The Civil Service Office reported on the following non-competitive class appointments. Zachary Kosa, Equipment Operator 3, Department of Water and Water Supply, effective 10/28/2020. Justin Epstein, Laborer 1, DGS, effective 10/29/2020. The following are all effective 11/4/2020 with the Department of Water and Water Supply. Mike Gaudio, Equipment Operator 1, Baxter Alexander, Equipment Operator 2, Juan Estrada, Automotive Mechanic. The following are all with the Department of General Services, effective 11/12/2020. James Futia, Jr., Laborer 1. Samuel Robinson, Marcos Almanzar, and Jamil Burton, all sanitation workers, and Jesse Dowdy, carpenter. Civil Service Office reported on the following competitive class reinstatement. Warren Turner, custodian with the Albany School District, effective 11/12/2020. Agenda item 4, police officer candidate appeals. Sandy.
We received this appeal in our office on Friday from the candidate. It has been forwarded to the police department to inquire for more information. They are looking into this for us, but I just wanted to bring it to the commission's attention. This person received a letter because last meeting they were non-selected for not appearing for their background information session, and they say that they submitted the canvas letter and then submitted the physical agility medical release, and then were told they were going to be contacted for a physical agility test and haven't heard anything until the letter that they were sent for a missed background. So once I get more information from the police department, I will forward it along, but this was just an informational so that you can see the letter we received.
So we have no information. The police department has not had sufficient time to research this yet, correct?
Correct. So we received it on Friday. I sent it to the police department on Monday, and then Tuesday they said they would look into it. They haven't gotten back to me yet.
Okay. Thank you. Agenda item 5, adoption of job specifications. Sandy, you're up.
The community engagement coordinator for the housing authority is a change in title from community services coordinator. What they've done, are adopting the new title, so that's why it's under adoptions. But from the old title of community services coordinator, they've updated the terminology to be more current. They have made the typical work activities more detailed to the position and added an associate's degree to the qualifications. And that is all for the community engagement coordinator.
Are they eliminating the community services coordinator from the budget?
Correct.
Okay. And there had been no associate's degree prior required?
Correct.
Okay.
Sandy, how many people are in this position?
I believe it's only a single title position.
Okay.
Is there just a single person in the community services coordinator position as well?
Yes, there's community service workers underneath this position, and that's a title that has more than one
Okay,
person.
thank you.
Mhm.
Mike?
I'm good.
Okay. Sandy, customer service manager?
Customer service manager is a new position for the Albany Parking Authority. This is a position that will oversee their customer service staff. So all the people who work in the parking garages that collect the money, that deal with the customers, and this person will be handling high-level customer accounts. So any of their corporate accounts that they have, this person will be overseeing those as well as supervising and training the customer service staff. It didn't exist before.
Any questions, commissioners? They feel they need a customer service manager for the parking authority?
That's the request that they've sent over, correct?
I just picked up a small omission, Sandy, in that first distinguishing features of the class, where it says the incumbent must be familiar with all aspects of the Albany Parking Authority's parking programs and promotions and should be able to articulate them.
Right.
Yeah, we can edit that.
Can we get that edited and bring it back next month?
Can we verbally edit it and I can just put it in the final draft?
That's
Because we
fine.
won't be meeting until January 6th, so they would have to wait for the job description again until January 7th.
I have no
Yeah,
objection to that.
I'm fine with the verbal correction.
Okay.
Mike?
Good.
Okay. Emergency Services Communication Manager?
The Albany Police Department for the 2021, hold on, you skipped the Director of Information Technology for the Housing Authority.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
That's okay. This again is just a change in title from MIS, which is Management Information Systems Coordinator, to now a Director of Information Technology, kind of modernizing the title, making it a director instead of a coordinator. The changes are the title and just adding 3 typical work activities, which are managing the implementation and appropriate technology to increase information accessibility and integrated systems management, direct the development and implementation of policies, regulations, and programs that support the coordination and growth of progressive, efficient, and cost-effective information technology services, and anticipates future technology needs and identifies proactive solutions to satisfy those needs, as well as adding into the directs and overseas, adding the words planning, management, and upgrading of computer systems operations. Those are the only changes, just the 3 typical work activities.
Okay. And that requires a director's position instead of coordinator, huh? Okay, fine with me. Linda, Mike, any
I'm fine with this.
passed and carried?
Okay, the Emergency Services Communications Manager is a new title in the 2021 budget for the city and the Albany Police Department. They are taking the current uniformed officer or lieutenant that oversees the 911 dispatch center and replacing it with a civilian manager. So this is the position that will oversee the dispatch center and 911.
Okay.
Sandy, is this typical of other municipalities to have a non-police department person in the
In
position?
my experience, yes, where I previously worked for another municipality, it was a civilian supervisor over the dispatch center, who then reports up to a uniformed officer. And I believe, yes, there are other municipalities across the state that have civilian.
But by and large, the large metropolitan areas, similar to Albany, Binghamton, Rochester, Syracuse, Buffalo, Poughkeepsie, Kingston, it's my understanding that most of the administrative staff, or the lead administrative person is a sworn officer. There is a hierarchy of civilians that report up. So do we know who would this person report to?
This person will report to the commander of the Administrative Services Bureau and Office of Professional Standards, and or the deputy chief of police, one of the deputy chief of police.
Okay. I mean, there is some, but to remove uniform personnel from different functions that can be completed by civilians, I'm sure this is part of that.
Yeah, and the city has been working with a consulting firm on the review of the communication center. So I don't know if this was a recommendation by that firm, but this was requested in the 2021 budget. And then the new position duty statement was sent to our office to draft a job description.
I have a question. Is this a, how many items will there be? How many positions with this title?
Just one.
Just one.
Yeah, so the communication center currently has 3 levels of titles. So a telecommunications specialist, which is the entry level, then there's a telecommunications senior dispatcher, and then there's the next step of a telecommunications shift supervisor. So there is a supervisor, there's supposed to be a supervisor for each shift, which there's 3. And then there's senior dispatchers underneath that. So if a supervisor is not there on a shift, the senior dispatcher takes over. And then this position would oversee the entire communication center.
So not around the clock. This is just a standard Monday through Friday position.
Correct. This is one person, they'll work their 40 hours. And then when they're not there, I would assume a shift supervisor would handle anything that comes on a shift. This will be the administrative supervisor.
And with regards to the police department, is it replacing one singular lieutenant, or was there a lieutenant on every shift?
The lieutenant who is currently assigned to the communication center will be reassigned to another division.
But only one, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's fine.
And how many people in the department?
In the communications department,
Mhm.
they're budgeted for 39. And I believe in next year's budget, they were allowed to add 3 more dispatchers. So it'll be a 42 person department.
Those 42 are spread throughout those 3 titles, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
I would agree. Linda?
Yes, I agree.
Mike?
Good.
Okay. Federal Housing Rehab Program Manager.
These next two positions, the Federal Rehousing Rehab Program Manager and the Federal Housing Finance Manager, are both new positions being funded by grant money, included in a new grant for federal housing rehabilitation programs, which also include the lead abatement program. And from my understanding, the rehab program manager will be replacing a current title, and the deputy director of the department was also eliminated for next year.
Okay.
Are we good on, actually, sorry, the housing program intake specialist is also included in that grant.
Right, you see that.
That is going to be the entry person, like, so the person that first meets with the applicants, takes in applications, reviews them, make sure they're completed in their entirety before referring them to a program staff.
Who does that now?
There is nobody that I understand. I know they have an administrative assistant there who is their first point of contact for anybody in the department who comes into the department. I think that the current staff of whatever programs they have split them up or have them split between deal with the public on those specific programs.
I have this.
I'm fine with this.
Just Linda.
Yes,
Good.
I'm fine.
Okay.
On to amendments.
Yep.
The building services supervisor, this position was adopted in 2004 and has not been revised since. There was a recent resignation from this title, so we have just made some updates. I removed the Department of Public Safety so that it could be used broad across departments should we need to. And then adding in no knowledge about electrical and commercial buildings, and then being able to manage contracts with vendors and cleaning contracts. And then we added into the minimum qualifications that their experience must have include experience with HVAC.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I got a last minute edit suggestion was in the distinguishing features. It does say, or sorry, not in the distinguishing features. Oh, never mind, their email didn't see the edits. The first typical work activity where it says plans, supervises, inspects all work involved in maintenance. I changed it to department occupied buildings and structures, and I've already taken out the police stations and firehouses. That's what they suggested.
Okay. I would agree.
I agree with this.
I agree.
Okay, passed and carried. Construction manager.
Construction manager, this is a revision from the Albany Housing Authority. There were quite a few revisions, so there's no red marks on it. But what happened was we removed the old job description was in a very old format, so it's been formatted to match the newer format of all the job descriptions, which tells me it wasn't updated for quite some time. All language referring to the modernization program has been removed. We've reworded the distinguishing features, and now this position is reporting to the executive director or their designee instead of the modernization program coordinator, which I'm assuming that they have now gotten rid of. That's not a position any longer. And then the qualifications have been changed. We took supervision experience out, and instead of engineering or architecture experience, it's just a broad building construction experience.
Okay.
Sandy, I picked up another minor thing in the minimum qualifications.
Mhm.
New needs to be capitalized. New York State.
Okay.
It just caught my eye. And the same in B, New York State.
I'll make those edits before we put them online.
Mhm.
And the grammatical, would agree?
Yep.
Yep.
Passed and carried. Uh, Okay, item 7, old business, ordering exams for public safety positions.
The resolution that was passed earlier in the year restricts us from ordering exams till the end of the year. However, to be able to hold exams starting in the new year for certain public safety positions, mostly promotional exams, we do need to order them now. One example is the fire battalion chief, which is normally held in January. So if we can get that ordered, we can hopefully have it posted before the end of the year to hold it in January. I don't foresee us having to postpone it or anything. There's usually only 10 to 15 candidates for that exam.
Okay, so the only one that's on the horizon, the only promotional one that we'd have to accommodate?
For like right after the new year would be the fire battalion chief. We do already have the telecommunications ordered, which is normally held in January. So we would need to post that as well before the new year.
Okay, since, I mean, are you sure there's no others? Because our next meeting is still January 6th. Do you foresee anything else coming up that we would have to post? So we're looking at anything that anybody would want to hold, probably up to the duration of February in order to
So
get done.
I'm just looking for an exception to be made for public safety positions. So any positions that are within the fire and police service.
Okay, that's fine.
And that includes the dispatchers, which we have a recruitment difficulty. So we're trying to hold the exam every year to get a list.
I would agree.
Okay.
That's fine with me.
Yep.
Mike, Linda?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Good.
We'll
Okay.
proceed with that.
Okay, agenda item 8, new business. Albany School District request for alternate test date from 3/14/20 exams. Okay. I've read that email.
Mhm.
Did the original test, was it canceled? Or did it go forth?
So we held the 314 exams. That was right before the week before we shut down
Right?
or closed to non-essential staff. So all candidates that were scheduled for the March 14th exam were sent an email on the 13th, which was the Friday, that told them that we were still moving forward with the exams. However, if they felt ill or did not feel comfortable attending in light of the current situation, to please not report to the exam, and they'll be provided an alternate test date, and to contact our office by emailing civilservice@albanyny.gov to arrange an alternate test date. When this district contacted us last week because Mr. Bowen was not on the list, they asked how the alternate candidates were contacted, and we told them that we called everybody who requested an alternate date. So Mr. Bowen would not have been called because we did not have.
Because he didn't ask for one.
Him. What's that?
He didn't ask for one, correct?
Correct. He didn't request an alternate test date.
I mean, I think it's pretty simple. On its face, I mean, we can't go back 6 months and offer him relief. I think it disenfranchises the people that went through the process accordingly. By his own admission, he He didn't understand what he was reading. He claims he didn't understand what he was reading, but he didn't make any effort to get clarification. He also didn't download the letter as directed by the email. And I would imagine, has that list been posted?
It was established at last month's meeting.
I think the cow's out of the barn.
I agree with Tom.
Yeah, I agree too.
And not for nothing, the fact that the school district is making this request,
A little shocking.
they are taking an advocacy position for a process that by its very nature has to be benignly objective. It raises all types of concerns with regards to objectivity in the hiring process.
Sandy, did the school district give any indication as to why they are, any special reason as to why they would, kind of advocate for this exception to be made for this gentleman?
I do know he's a provisional in the title, so I don't know if that's the reason why. But when I spoke to the assistant HR administrator at the school district, she pretty much explained the reasoning in her email. She understands that he was signing up for state exams as well, and thought the exam might have been canceled because he was contacted by the state that exams were canceled that he signed up for.
I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't think we can make a single exception. I mean, I guess technically that's our role, is to make the exceptions, but I just don't see this as an appropriate situation to make that exception.
The course of appeal was for him to appeal to the commission. And once the school district effectively or euphemistically got in bed with him as their advocate and promoted his appeal, it eliminates all objectivity on their part. And the fact that it's 7 months later, after the results of the test have been posted, I don't think there's anything. We have to do things that are defensible, and this is completely indefensible.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the guy, but
Yeah. Sandy, again, clarification. Tom may have asked this question. I might have just missed it. When did the list come out?
The list was established at last month's meeting.
Okay.
So the exam was March 14th. We went to essential staff only on March 17th at City Hall. And then when we were back in the office, I believe it was September, we had anybody who requested an alternate test date for that exam date, we scheduled them and they came in and took the exam. The state turned around the results pretty quickly. And then we had the list established at last month's meeting. And the school district was provided the list because they had provisionals that needed to be appointed from provisional to permanent. And that's when the question came up, because Mr. Bowen's name wasn't on the list.
So when did the school district receive the list?
Within the last 2 weeks. I don't remember the exact date.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's been 8 months since that test date, and he hasn't done anything until the list was posted. And I think our hands are tied on this.
Yeah, I'm just querying, I'm in agreement, but I just wanted to put things in cycle for myself, like when did the list come out? When was the list created? When,
Yep.
Because we might be hearing from somebody about this again.
Well, I would submit that the school district would have known who took the test as far back as what was the date of the test? Did you say it was the 14th?
March 14th.
And are they routinely given a roster of test takers?
No, the only time we release the names or the roster of the test candidates are to police and fire for their promotion exams for staffing
Okay.
purposes.
Okay. Well, I mean, still, it's a small community. I'm sure someone there knew that he didn't take the test, or he found no relief in short order relative to the test date. So
They had other provisional candidates, so that were appointed from the list that was just established. So there are other district employees that participated in these exams.
right. So I would offer up that we disallow the appeal.
I agree.
Agree.
Okay, that concludes the meeting. Do we have any other new business?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, next meeting, January 6th, 2021 at 4:30.
Mhm.
And that concludes today's meeting. I wish everybody a happy, stress-free, and disease-free holiday.
Thank you.
Same to you, Tom.
Same
And
to
we'll
you,
see-
Tom.
See you in about 2 months.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Have a good one.